I wanted to check the household electricity balance, but when logging into the Power Grid app, I discovered that my husband's name was associated with two account numbers. The note for the second account was, "The Real Home." My vision blurred. What is the real home? I dialed my husband's phone, speaking calmly. Why is there an extra house's electricity bill under your name? From his end came the sound of keyboard typing, his tone relaxed. Oh, that's for paying my mom's bill. The old lady doesn't know how to use a phone, so I linked her home to it. I gently said filial, hung up, and then opened the monthly electricity usage details for that account. That house's electricity consumption was even higher than ours, and the peak usage each month was during the weekends when we slept in separate rooms. I noted down the address and directly started the car. The navigation endpoint was the city's famous affluent district, Cloud Top Mansion. The housing prices here were twice as high as our current neighborhood. I parked the car on the roadside, looking at that brightly lit high-rise residence. The security guard stopped me. I reported my husband Daniel's name and accurately stated that account number. The guard saluted and immediately let me pass. The elevator stopped at the 26th floor. I stood in front of that heavy armored door, took a deep breath, and pressed the doorbell. From inside came a series of light footsteps, accompanied by a young woman's voice. "Honey, didn't you say you were going to buy soy sauce? Why are you ringing the doorbell?" The door opened. A woman wearing a silk camisole nightgown stood at the door, holding half an apple that had been bitten. She saw me and was stunned. I was also stunned. This face was all too familiar to me. This was Lily, the impoverished college student I had sponsored for 6 years. The nightgown she was wearing was one I had bought last month. I hadn't even had time to cut off the tag before it disappeared. At the time, Daniel said it might have been lost when the auntie collected the clothes. Turns out it was worn by her. The apple in Lily's hand fell to the ground and rolled to my feet. "Claire. Sister Claire?" I looked at her expressionlessly, directly pushed her aside, and walked in. At the entrance, there were 2 pairs of slippers, one pink bunny pair and one gray linen pair. The gray one was hand-crocheted by me for Daniel. The living room was large, with a thick wool carpet in front of the floor-to-ceiling windows, scattered with Lego bricks. On the TV wall hung a huge wedding photo. In the photo, Daniel was holding Lily's waist, both smiling brightly. That smile stung my eyes. "Who is it? Why no sound?" From the bathroom came the sound of flushing, followed by the door opening. Daniel walked out while wiping his hair, only wrapped in a bath towel. He looked up and saw me, his hand wiping hair frozen mid-air. The air seemed to solidify. I walked to the coffee table, picked up the unfinished Lego castle on it. "This is the house where you pay Mom's electricity bill?" I loosened my hand. The Lego castle smashed onto the marble floor, shattering into pieces. Daniel finally reacted. He rushed over in a few steps, blocking in front of Lily. "How did you come? Did you track me?" I looked at his bare upper body, with several fresh scratch marks on his chest. "Sleeping in separate rooms on weekends because you have to come here to work overtime?" Daniel frowned, with no trace of guilt on his face, his tone full of impatience. "Claire, can you stop being so sarcastic? Since you've seen it all, I have nothing to hide." He turned to look at the trembling Lily, his gaze instantly becoming gentle. "Lily is pregnant. The doctor said her constitution is weak and she can't handle shocks." I laughed out loud. "So what? I deserve to be shocked?" Daniel threw the towel on the ground. "Can you be reasonable? We've been married for 5 years, and your belly hasn't moved at all. My mom is so anxious she's been hospitalized. I'm the only son of the Shin family. I can't let my family line end." Lily hid behind him, timidly poking her head out. "Sister Claire, don't blame Daniel. It was voluntary on my part. I don't seek status, as long as the baby can be born." I raised my hand and slapped her. With a crisp paw sound, it interrupted her pretentious words. Daniel pushed me away with such force that I staggered and hit the TV cabinet. "Claire! Have you gone mad enough? This is my home, get out." I held my painfully bruised waist and stood straight. You're home? Daniel, have you forgotten that everything you have now, including the company you started, the startup capital was from whom? Daniel sneered, took out a document from the coffee table drawer, and threw it at me. It used to rely on you, but in the past 2 years, the company has long been on track. This house was bought with my dividends, written in Lily's name. Does it have anything to do with you? I lowered my head to glance at the property certificate copy. Indeed, the rights holder column boldly stated Lily. I tore the copy into shreds and scattered them in front of them. Good, very good. Daniel, you will pay for what you've done today. I turned and left. Behind me came Daniel's disdainful voice. Who are you scaring? Without me, you're just a yellow-faced hag who only shops and gets beauty treatments. If you have the guts, sue. Infidelity in marriage doesn't lead to imprisonment, at worst divorce, assets split half and half. Back in the car, my hands shook so much I couldn't even buckle the seatbelt. The phone vibrated. It was a WeChat from Daniel. Stop making a fuss, leave yourself some dignity. Lily is pregnant with a son, my mom already knows. If you're willing to accept, after the child is born, he can call you mom, and we can live as before. If you insist on mutual destruction, you'll be the one at a loss. Next was a transfer screenshot. 5 million. The recipient was Lily. Note, nutrition fee. Looking at that number, I suddenly stopped shaking. 5 million. That was the trust fund my dad left me. Last week Daniel said the company had cash flow difficulties and asked me to withdraw it for emergency. Turns out the emergency was saved into the mistress's belly. I started the car, didn't go home, but went straight to the company. Since he thinks he can thrive without me, I'll show him who really can't live without whom. I called the company's CFO Richard. Richard, pull out all the accounts for the projects Daniel has handled recently and send them to me. Also, freeze all the secondary cards under his name. Richard hesitated on the other end. Claire, Daniel after all is, won't this make things too tense? Do as I say. Hung up, I dialed another number. Attorney Ethan, help me draft a divorce agreement. Also, I want to check all asset transfer records under Daniel's name, especially the last 6 months. After handling all this, I drove home. Pushing open the door, the house was eerily cold. On the entrance shoe cabinet, there was still the bouquet of roses Daniel gave me last week, already wilted, petals scattered on the ground. I threw the flowers along with the vase into the trash bin. Walking into the bedroom, I opened the wardrobe, took out Daniel's clothes one by one. The scissors cut through the expensive suit fabric, making a ripping sound. Armani, cut. Zegna, cut. Handmade custom shirts, all cut. After cutting the last one, I kicked the scattered fabric strips aside, lay on the bed, eyes open until dawn. The next morning, I was awakened by urgent knocking. Opening the door, my mother-in-law stood outside, full of anger. Behind her followed Daniel and Lily carrying big and small bags. Claire. You barren hen, still have the face to sleep? Hurry and make room for Lily. Mother-in-law pushed me aside, pulled Lily in swaggeringly. Oh, my good grandson, can't get tired. This house faces south, good sunlight, you'll live in the master bedroom from now on. Daniel looked at the shredded clothes on the floor, his face ashen. Claire, are you sick? You cut all the good clothes? I leaned on the doorframe, coldly looking at this family of 3. This is my home, I cut whatever I want. As for you, trespassing, I can call the police. Mother-in-law pointed at my nose and cursed. What your home my home? This house was bought by Daniel. You eat his, drink his, now he has an heir, not only are you unhappy, but you're making trouble? I tell you, from now on Lily is the mistress of this house, hurry and serve, or get out. I looked at mother-in-law's face twisted with excitement, only finding it laughable. This house was clearly my premarital full payment property, just because Daniel said adding his name gives security, I foolishly added it. Now it became him as the owner. Lily held mother-in-law's arm, looking aggrieved. Auntie, don't scold Sister Claire, it's all my fault. I shouldn't have come, I'll go back. Go back where? Daniel grabbed her. This is your home. Claire, I'm notifying you one last time, Lily will stay here to nurture the fetus. Either accept or move out. I walked to the sofa and sat down, crossing my legs. Making me move out is fine. This house's market value is 12 million, minus renovation depreciation, give me 6 million, and I'll leave immediately. Daniel acted as if he heard a joke. 6 million? You're robbing? These years you didn't work, household expenses were all earned by me, the appreciation part of the house also has my credit. At most 2 million, take it or leave it. Mother-in-law chimed in. Exactly. 2 million is already too much. A divorced woman like you, who will want you later? I took out my phone, turned on recording. Repeat what you just said. Daniel rushed over to grab my phone. What are you recording? Claire, I warn you, don't make things absolute. I sidestepped his hand, stood up. Since we can't agree, see you in court. I turned into the bedroom to pack luggage. Since they want to live, let them live enough. I'll see how long they can last in this home without my money. When I dragged the suitcase out, Lily was sitting on the sofa eating bird's nest. That was what Daniel had someone bring back from Indonesia last month, saying it was to nourish my body. I had never been willing to eat it. Seeing me come out, Lily provocatively raised her eyebrows. Sister Claire, this bird's nest tastes really good. Don't be too sad, after all, you're older, it's normal not to have children. I stopped, walked to her. Picked up the bowl of bird's nest, directly dumped it on her head. The viscous liquid flowed down her hair, covering her face. Ah! My hair! Lily screamed and jumped up. Mother-in-law and Daniel rushed out from the kitchen. What happened? What happened? Seeing Lily's disheveled appearance, Daniel raised his hand to hit me. I looked at him coldly. If you dare to land this slap, I'll make sure you can't survive in the industry. Daniel's hand stopped in midair. He knew how many handles I held on him. Back then, for kickbacks, he falsified accounts, I kept all that evidence. He gritted his teeth, fiercely lowered his hand. Claire, you're ruthless. Wait for me. I pulled the suitcase, left without looking back that place I once called home. The moment the elevator door closed, I heard mother-in-law's curses and Lily's cries from inside. Out of the neighborhood, I deeply inhaled the outside air. Although filled with car exhaust, at least it was cleaner than the air in that home. I checked into a hotel near the company. In the following days, I didn't contact Daniel, nor go to the company. I turned off my phone, locked myself in the hotel room, sorting all financial transaction records over the years. You don't know until you check, one check shocks. Daniel not only transferred my trust fund but also secretly mortgaged a shop we jointly owned. Even the pension insurance I bought for my parents was cancelled and cashed out by him. Total amount over 10 million. Looking at those dense data, my heart gradually cooled. So this is the man I loved for 5 years. This is the man who vowed to support me for life. He acted deep affection by my side for 5 years, but behind, like a rat, gradually emptied my family fortune. Just as I finished sorting the last evidence, the hotel room door was knocked. It was the front desk staff. Ms. Claire, there's a Mr. Daniel in the lobby looking for you. He says if you don't go down, he'll keep shouting there. I walked to the window, looked down. Daniel was standing at the hotel entrance, holding a megaphone, attracting passers-by's attention. I sneered. Want to play moral kidnapping? Then I'll play big with you. I changed into a black dress, applied exquisite makeup. Since acting, do the full set. I came to the lobby. Daniel saw me, immediately threw down the megaphone and ran over. Wife. You finally see me. I know I was wrong, come home with me. He knelt with a thud in front of me, tears streaming. People in the lobby surrounded, taking photos and videos with phones. Wife, Lily has moved out, Mom was sent back to hometown by me. I swear, no more contact with them. Please forgive me this time. He acted so realistically. If I didn't know he just bought Lily a Hermes bag yesterday, I almost believed. I looked down at him. Daniel, do you know why I found out about that Real Home account? Daniel was stunned, eyes flickering. What account? I said it's for paying moms. I took out my phone, opened a video. In the video, Daniel was holding Lily rolling on the bed, both saying dirty words. The background was that Real Home. This video was shot by pinhole cameras installed by a private detective I hired. The night he brought Lily home, I had someone install surveillance in that Real Home. Daniel's face instantly paled. Surrounding discussions grew louder. Oh my, isn't that Daniel? Looks human but dog-like, turns out a scumbag. Even steals wife's money, shameless? Daniel suddenly stood up, reached to grab my phone. You bitch. You dare trick me. Security rushed up and held him down. I looked at Daniel pressed on the ground, corners of my mouth curling in a cold smile. Daniel, the game has just begun. Back in the hotel room, the phone was blown up. Besides dozens of missed calls from Daniel, there were from mother-in-law, even Lily. I answered none. I sent that video to Daniel's company 500-person group. Also attached Lily's pregnancy report and that $5 million transfer record. After doing all this, I poured myself a glass of red wine. Looking at the night view outside, I knew when tomorrow's sun rises, Daniel will become the city's laughingstock. The next morning, I received Richard's call. Claire, Daniel, oh no, Daniel came to the company making trouble today. The board just had an emergency meeting, decided to suspend all his duties in the company. I sipped coffee. Got it. Have security throw him out, don't dirty the company's ground. Also, that Lily came too, pulling a banner at the company door, saying you forced a pregnant woman to death. I put down the cup. Call the police. Say someone is provoking trouble. I packed up, checked out, drove straight to the company. The company entrance was crowded. Lily, with her not obvious belly, sat on the ground throwing a tantrum. The banner read, Original wife vicious, forcing mistress and child to death. Mother-in-law cried bitterly beside. No justice. Bullying us beggars. Everyone come see, this is that black-hearted boss lady. Daniel stood aside, full of decadence, stubbly. Seeing my car, his eyes lit up, rushed over slapping the window. Claire. Get down. Clarify things. I lowered the window, looked at him coldly. Say what? How you embezzled public funds to support the mistress? Or how you hid that illegitimate child for 3 years? Daniel's face changed drastically. You, what 3 years? I took out a photo from my bag, threw it at his face. In the photo, a about 3-year-old boy was riding on Daniel's neck, Lily smiling brightly beside. This photo was dug out by the private detective from Lily's Instagram account. Taken 3 years ago. That means Lily wasn't a recent graduate. During the sponsorship, they were already together. And the child was already this big. The so-called pregnancy nurturing was just an excuse to enter the household. Mother-in-law saw the photo, her cries stopped abruptly. She guiltily turned her face, not daring to look at me. Turns out, the whole family knew, only I was kept in the dark, like a fool earning money to raise their child. Daniel's hand holding the photo was shaking. You knew long ago? I pushed open the car door, stepped down, high heels making crisp sounds on the cement. Daniel, you keep saying for the family line, that I'm barren. But do you know why I miscarried back then? Daniel was stunned. 5 years ago, I was pregnant. That accidental miscarriage, doctor said it was due to ingesting blood-activating drugs. I always thought it was my carelessness. Until yesterday, while checking accounts, I found at that time, Daniel had an unexplained expense. Recipient was an old Chinese doctor. Note, abortion drug. I held up the transfer record copy in front of him. At that time we just married, you feared the child affecting your promotion, affecting your partying, so you personally killed your own child. The crowd was in uproar. Oh my, too beastly? Even own flesh and blood he could do it? Daniel retreated 2 steps, face pale as paper. No, not, it's a misunderstanding. Misunderstanding? I approached him step by step. To buy school district house for this illegitimate child, you embezzled 20 million company funds. To buy bags for Lily, overdrew my credit card. Daniel, you really disgust me. Daniel was forced back with no retreat, back against the company gate's stone pillar. Suddenly, as if thinking of something, he fiercely raised his head, eyes turning vicious. Claire. Since you know everything, I have nothing to pretend. Yes, I despise you. A strong woman like you, which man can stand? Lily is gentler than you, more obedient, and can give me a son. That child was an accident anyway, aborted and done. Do you need to hold grudge for years? You can't give birth yourself, yet forbid me other children? A barren hen like you deserves no descendants. I looked at his twisted face, the last bit of affection in my heart vanished. Pa. I used all my strength, fiercely slapped him. This slap severed our 5 years of marital bond. It also sounded the horn of my revenge. Daniel's head turned from the slap, blood seeping from mouth corner. He incredulously held his face, seeming not to expect I'd hit in front of so many. You hit me? You dare hit me? He raised hand to counter, but was held down by arriving security. Daniel, please calm down. The security captain was promoted by me, strong grip, pressing Daniel immobile. I shook my numb palm, coldly looked at him. This slap is for that unborn child. I turned to Lily still faking dead on ground, and the bewildered mother-in-law. Since you like acting, I'll act to the end with you. Security, clear these irrelevant people, don't delay everyone's work. After saying, I adjusted my collar, under everyone's gaze, head high entered the company gate. Behind came Daniel's roar, Claire. Don't regret. The company legal person is me. You have no right to drive me out. My steps paused, no turning back. Legal person is you correct, but the company's actual control has never been in your hands. Entered the office, I immediately convened executives meeting. Conference room atmosphere heavy. Everyone saw the farce at door, looking at me with sympathy and inquiry. I sat in the main seat, threw a document on table. This is evidence of Daniel embezzling public funds, and records of him using position to outsource company business to his own shell company. Executives passed the document, faces increasingly ugly. Claire, this, amount too large, once report to police, Daniel probably goes to jail. Richard looked at me worriedly. I knocked the table, tone calm. Then report to police. Business as usual. But. No but. From now, relieve Daniel of all duties. Also, freeze all company accounts, cooperate with police investigation. After arranging company matters, I received Attorney Ethan's call. Ms. Claire, the Cloud Top Mansion house you asked me to check has clues. Speak. Although that house is in Lily's name, the down payment and mortgage repayments can all be traced to Daniel's account, and most money in Daniel's account comes from your marital joint property. We can claim the gift invalid, recover the property. No need. I curled my lips, that house, leave to them. Attorney Ethan stunned, Ms. Claire, that's over 10 million. What I want isn't money, but to make them wish they were dead. Attorney Ethan, help check that house's mortgage status. If I guessed right, Daniel, that greedy person, absolutely won't let over 10 million asset idle. Sure enough, half-hour later, Attorney Ethan sent message. That house was already second mortgaged by Daniel 2 weeks ago, loaned 8 million, for investing in a so-called high-return project. And that project's actual controller happens to be a chess piece I laid years ago. In the following days, I didn't rush to sue for divorce. I was waiting. Waiting for that mine to explode. After Daniel was driven out of company, not as panicked as I imagined. Heard he took Lily and that 3-year-old illegitimate son, moved into Cloud Top Mansion. Family of 4 living happily, friend circle full of happiness photos. Caption: Some people only know who is true love after losing. Now I am very happy. I know, he posted for me to see. He thought with that 8 million loan, plus previously transferred assets, enough for comeback. Pity, he didn't know that high return project is itself a money swallower. I sent message to my project head Michael. Can close the net. Michael replied okay gesture. That night, Daniel posted in friend's circle, what's going on? Michael's phone can't connect? I sneered at the screen. Connect? Strange if it does. Michael Long took the money abroad to enjoy. Of course, that money will end up in my overseas account. Next day, Daniel started frantically looking for people. Couldn't find Michael, came to find me. Blocked me downstairs home, at company door. I saw none. Until third day, usurers came. Turns out, Daniel not only mortgaged house, but borrowed 5 million usury, for adding position. Now project collapsed, house sealed by bank, usury started collecting. That so-called real home instantly became hell. From surveillance, I saw usurer splashing red paint on door, Lily holding child screaming, mother-in-law scared paralyzed on ground. Daniel like a dog kneeling begging. Big bro, grace a few days, my wife has money, she's listed company boss, I have money to repay. Hearing this, I turned off surveillance. Time to appear. I brought attorney Ethan, and 2 police, to Cloud Top Mansion. Elevator door opened, smelled pungent paint odor. Corridor in mess. Seeing police, usurers grumbled and dispersed. Daniel saw me, like seeing lifesaver, crawled over. Wife. Wife, you finally came. Quick, help repay. As long as you help repay this, I'll listen to everything. I'll cut with Lily immediately. I disgustedly stepped back, avoiding his dirty hand. Lily holding child at door, hair messy, no trace of previous arrogance. She looked at me, eyes full of venom. Claire. It's your doing right? You caused Daniel's bankruptcy. I smiled, ignored her, looked at Daniel. Daniel, I came today not to repay your debt. I took out a document from bag. This is divorce agreement. Sign it, I can consider not pursuing your embezzlement criminal liability. Daniel stunned. He looked at the agreement, hands shaking like sifting chaff. Leave with nothing? Claire, you're forcing me to death. Forced to death? I raised brow, compared to your wanting to murder for wealth, I'm already merciful. Murder for wealth? Nonsense? I signaled attorney Ethan to take out a recorder. That was previously recorded by private detective, Daniel and Lily's conversation. Wait for that yellow-faced hag to withdraw trust fund, we'll find way to create accident, that drug, larger dose, let her die unknowingly. In recording, Daniel's voice vicious. Daniel's face lost color instantly. He slumped on ground, eyes vacant. Sign or jail, choose yourself. I threw the pen in front of him. Daniel trembling hand picked up the pen. He glanced at Lily, at the scared crying child, finally gritted teeth signed the agreement. The moment signed, he seemed spine extracted. Claire, 1 day couple 100 days grace, you really so absolute? I put away agreement, coldly looked at him. When you drugged me, did you think of 1 day couple 100 days grace? When taking my money to raise mistress, did you think? I turned to police, comrade, although I don't pursue embezzlement, he suspected attempted intentional murder, this recording is evidence. Daniel glared wide eyes. You lied. You said sign and not pursue. I laughed, brilliantly. I said not pursue embezzlement, didn't say not pursue murder. Police stepped forward, handcuffed Daniel. Daniel, come with us. Lily madly rushed, pulling police. You can't arrest him. He's my child's dad. Arrest him, how we orphan widow live. Police pushed her away. Don't obstruct duty. Daniel was taken away. Room left Lily, mother-in-law, and the crying child. Mother-in-law pounced, hugging my leg. Claire. Mom wrong. Mom shouldn't treat you like that before. Save Daniel. As long as save him, Mom be your ox horse, okay? I kicked her away. You're not my mom, I find disgusting. Also, this house soon auctioned by bank, give you half-hour pack and scram. Lily stared deadly at me, eyes full hatred. Claire, you'll have retribution. Retribution? I walked to her, pinched her chin. My retribution is escaping scumbag, reclaiming my everything. Your retribution just starting. I flung her away, turned left. Out of the building, sunlight just right. The haze troubling me 5 years finally dispersed. But revenge not over. Although Daniel in, but Lily still. That child still. I don't plan to let go any who hurt me. Following days, I started reorganizing company. Kicked out all cronies Daniel placed, promoted capable young people. Company stock rose instead of falling. And Lily sighed, days not so good. House repossessed, she with child and mother-in-law rented an urban village basement. After Daniel in, left her only huge debt. Those usurers can't find Daniel, daily harass Lily. I heard, Lily to repay, had to go nightclub a company drink. And that once arrogant mother-in-law, now daily picks rotten leaves at market. But this not enough. I want Lily total despair. I found Lily's so-called college student identity fake. Her diploma bought. Moreover, before knowing Daniel, in hometown already married, not divorced. That is, she and Daniel bigamy. I anonymously sent this to her hometown husband. That man gambler, just short money. Few days later, that man with brothers came. That day, I specially drove to Lily's urban village. Not close yet, heard beating curses and cries. Stinking whore. Took my betrothal money, run out steel man. Even bore bastard. Lily hair pulled by man, dragged beaten on ground. Mother-in-law tried to stop, kicked over by man. That's Shin family grandson. You can't beat. Mother-in-law still protecting child. Man spat. What Shin grandson? This is bastard. I long took him DNA test, no relation to me, nor to your paramour. This like thunder, blasted scene, instant quiet. Even beaten Lily stunned. Mother-in-law mouth wide, dazed. You, what? No relation to Daniel? Man took wrinkled paper from pocket, threw at mother-in-law face. See yourself. This bastard don't know which wild man this whore bore with. I wore green hat for years in vain. Mother-in-law trembling picked up appraisal report. It boldly, exclude paternity. Ah. Mother-in-law issued shrill scream, eyes rolled, fainted. Lily ashen, limp on ground. I in car watching, couldn't help laugh. Turns out, this the biggest irony. Daniel for this child, abandoned wife, child, embezzled, even wanted kill wife. Result, child not his at all. He staked his life, just to raise other son. This simply world's funniest joke. I didn't get out, nor call police. This their dogfight, I just need be quiet audience. Lily's husband smashed all smashable in house, finally robbed Lily's remaining money, left triumphantly. Lily holding crying child, sat in mess, eyes dazed. Mother-in-law woke, madly pounced Lily, scratching, biting. You liar. Return my son. Return house. Return money. Two wrestled, like two mad beasts. I started car, slowly drove away. This moment, last resentment in heart dissipated. No need me act, they already sent themselves to hell. 3 months later, Daniel's case trialed. As victim, I attended. Daniel much thinner, hair shaved, in prison uniform, haggard. When prosecutor read charges, especially played recording in court, he kept head down, silent. Until judge sentenced. Fund misappropriation, duty embezzlement, attempted murder, multiple crimes, 15 years imprisonment. Hearing verdict, Daniel swayed, almost fell. When taken away, passing me, stopped. Claire. His voice hoarse, with plea, can help care that child? After all, a life. Until this moment, he still didn't know truth. Still thought child his flesh. I looked at him, curled cruel smile. Daniel, one thing I forgot tell you. I leaned to his ear, whispered, that child, no blood relation to you. Lily's husband already came, child she bore with other man in nightclub. Daniel's pupils contracted sharply. He stared deadly, eyes bulging. You, what? I say, you for a bastard, ruined your life. Daniel, you're really pitiful. Ah. Daniel issued beastly roar, madly wanted rush grab me. Liars. You're all liars. I'll kill her. Kill Lily. Bailiffs rushed hold him, forcibly dragged away. Daniel's roars echoed in court, lingering. I adjusted collar, turned out of court. Outside sunlight still bright. But I know, Daniel's remaining life in darkness and regret. This more painful than killing him. After Daniel imprisoned, I thoroughly bid farewell to past. Sold company, cashed large sum. That city carrying too many memories and pain, I don't want stay. Decided world tour, see places I wanted but didn't do to Daniel. Before leaving, I went to mental hospital. Mother-in-law mad. Learning grandson bastard, son jailed, fortune gone multiple blows, her spirit collapsed. Now she holds cloth doll all day, sees people calls good grandson. Lily threw her at hospital door and ran. Out of humanitarianism, I paid 1 month hospitalization. Through iron window, I saw mother-in-law sitting corner, muttering to dirty doll, Daniel when you come pick mom to big house? Mom still bring grandson. I shook head, turned left. As for Lily, her to dodge debt, fled elsewhere. But that gambler husband like vampire clings, she never flipped this life. In this story, no winners. But I at least retreated whole, live more splendid than before. Sitting in first class to Paris, I ordered champagne. Looking at clouds outside, I raised glass. To freedom, to new life. Phone suddenly vibrated. Unknown number MMS. A photo. Daniel in prison beaten black and blue, curled corner snatching steamed bun. Sender a friend in prison, previously benefited from me. Note one sentence, Sister Claire rest assured, he's doing well inside. I deleted photo, turned off phone. Corner's mouth slight smile. This the real ending. All betrayal and hurt, ultimately repaid doubly another way. Playing through clouds, greeting the infinite broad future.